1. My shift ended with 2 checked-out females coming back very irate and insisted I charge them the smoking fees simply because they're black, as my black co-worker stood feet away trying to keep a straight face. Needless to say, they will be DNR based on their 2 stays. The guest was very adamant about checking into their room early. At the time of her arrival, that room was not available. So the front desk worked with the guest to choose a room of her liking, whereupon she decided on another. The guest came down to the front desk soon after saying that she liked the room because they're all the same, no matter what floor. I agreed. She then proceeded to tell me that she was out of body wash. I let her know that I could send housekeeping up to replace it for her, as well as put it back on the wall. She insisted that I just hand her the bottle. I let the guest know that I would have to go find some for her. She proceeded to follow me to every floor as I went into the storage room. I wasn't able to locate one for her, so I asked her to give me a moment to contact housekeeping to replace one for her. The guest then left. Housekeeping went to locate soap for her and replace it. She reported that the guest still had half a bottle full and didn't replace the soap. We left that as is. Housekeeping let me know that the guest had stopped her in the hall asking for Febreze. As they walked to her with the Febreze, she said, "Never mind, I don't like that smell." Guest then called the front desk about hair being all over the floor. I asked where she saw the hair and said she did not know where it was coming from, but that it was stuck all over her flip-flops. I apologized and let her know I'd send someone up to vacuum. Maintenance went. About an hour later, the guest called again, saying that she feels like a dog was just here and she's just kind of allergic. I let her know that no guest with a dog occupied her room prior, and asked what we could do for her. She asked to get switched to her original room. The guest took about an hour to get her belongings out of the room and switch, so now she's in room X. About an hour after that, the guest called again, and said there's hair all over her flip-flops from this current room too. She wanted someone to go up to her room to look. Front desk went up to the room and checked. He said he didn't see the hair she was referring to in the room. She claims she can see hair on the floor and carpet. He did not, just an FYI. Audit note: the guest stayed awake all night. She came by asking for salt and pepper, later asked for a blanket, later asked for more salt and pepper, later for new band-aids. She shared that she could not sleep because her shoes had hair all over. She mentioned that the AC in her room was broken and wanted to know what type of compensation she was going to receive due to the unpleasant experience. The guest was encouraged to speak to management in the morning. Spoke to the guest today. She made a new reservation for today, and we are looking to move her to room Z that has been inspected. For our records. The guest called last night, Friday, regarding a parking charge in her room. She changed her story a few times over the phone, but ultimately was saying she did not have a car parked and was only dropped off. I let her know that the reservation states that she did say she had a car at check-in, which is why she was being given a parking permit, as well as charged the fee. There are no notes, but I remember this guest from that evening, and she did in fact have a car. Her and her sister were in and out of the room all evening, going into their car, getting out and back into their rooms. She said that she was asked if she had a car at check-in, but only said yes because she thought we were referring to the car that dropped her off. I let the guest know that, as a one-time courtesy, I will take the charge off. However, she was charged for parking for the above reasons. It looks like there is still one past reservation that still has a charge. She called again Saturday AM regarding a charge of a room upgrade fee from a different reservation. I let her know that the room upgrade fee wasn't actually that, but it was a partial point in pay reservation, and the charge she is seeing is for the pay portion of her stay. Management set this up, so we weren't going to go against the charges posted. She seemed to understand what I explained. It sounded like there was more she wanted to bring up, but stopped herself. She may call again. Fast forward to today. The guest just popped up in our arrivals for tonight. Guest called at around 11 a.m. saying she was checking out, but asking if she can stay in room C for a stayover reservation. I let her know that I can check her out, however, I still did not see a reservation under her name and that I wouldn't be able to assign her to a room until a reservation was made. I said that as soon as the reservation comes through, we'd try our best to accommodate her request. We have been looking for her reservation and nothing has come up. At 1:30, I went into the room to make sure she was at least checked out, like she said she would be at 11 a.m., and she wasn't. Her and others were in the room. I let her know that she has passed the departure time by an hour and that she needs to depart the room. She said, "Oh, the girl yesterday told me I had until 3 p.m. because we checked in at 1 a.m. I let her know that we did not have that set in our system, only until 12:30. I looked at which night auditor checked her in, and there is no way he would have given a 3 p.m. checkout guarantee for free. I let her know that any departures after 1 p.m. have a late departure charge. She said she'd be right down. It has been a few minutes since then. Her credit card declined for a $75 departure fee. I was able to get at least $50 from her. We will see if she decides to stay or not, but as of now, she is getting charged a late departure fee. I went back to the room to see if she departed, and she did. However, the room has a strong marijuana odor. Unfortunately, we are unable to collect a smoking fee due to her declining cards. A number of others were able to confirm the smell. And then she came back and called me racist. We were laughing so hard in the office. This job. 2. I work as a night auditor, and we see and deal with a lot of crazy shit. I work at a small hotel in a smallish town, where we have a lot of break-ins, drugs, crime, homelessness, and, overall, not a safe city to live in. Well, it's 3:30 a.m., and a very young woman, our Mega Karen with a dog, tries to come in. She looked as if she was trying to get her phone to open the door. Cool, no biggie, 'cause that's how we do here since we lock the doors at 11 p.m. She could not get her phone to work, so she rang the bell over and over again. I went to the office to unlock the door for her. She rushes in. "Hi, ma'am, how can I assist you?" She ignores me and runs with her dog to the elevator. I rush after her, 'cause, oh hell no. "Ma'am, I'm going to join you in this elevator because I need to verify what room you are going to, as you did not check in at the front desk."
"You cannot be in here with me,"
she screams. "I need to verify your information, ma'am."
"I have cancer and I'm on chemo. Get out. I'm in room..."
I take exception to her rude attitude, but I think, okay, I'll be nice. "Ma'am, I just needed to verify you don't need to scream at me."
"You are rude. I'm going to talk to your manager in the morning, you rude bitch. What are you, a fucking moron?"
Okay, let me just step out, mostly because she's testing my inner gangster, and I am about ready to slap a hoe. She was acting erratic, and I did not want to be in the elevator with her and her dog, so I step out and push the button again so that I can go to the floor she is claiming she is on. I get up there and notice she had no idea where she's going. I am prepared for a fight, but it is okay because I can out-Karen any Karen.
"Oh my god, stop following me. You're harassing me. Are you stupid? You idiot, I already told you what room I'm in."
I say as calm as I can be. "Ma'am, we have sleeping guests, and you are going to need to calm down. Also, room XYZ does not exist here, and I am going to need you to come to the front desk and verify the reservation information. Otherwise, I am calling the police to have you removed." She tries to get her phone to show me what room she's supposed to be in. It doesn't work. She says she's a super platinum godlike member and she's calling the company because she is not going to the front desk and won't put up with this treatment from me. She apparently cannot access her internet, or it is slow or something. She asks me for the Wi-Fi. I just look at her and say nothing. She is able to call her boyfriend or whoever she is going to see. She tells him this crazy story about how I left her outside in the cold at 3 a.m. and now I am harassing her and won't stop following her because I am crazy or something, and how I am a rude idiot and she feels unsafe. She puts the phone on speaker.
"He wants to speak to you."
Hello. What actually happened is that our doors lock at 11 p.m. for guest and employee safety. When asking her about what room she is in, or any information about her reservation, she immediately got an attitude with me, called me names, and refuses to cooperate. We have a right to know who is in our hotel. If she does not come to the front desk, or you can't come to the desk to verify, I am ready to call the police. Either way, she cannot be up on the floor where we have guests sleeping acting the way she is. He is able to say something to her where you can see logic starts brewing in her tiny little noggin. She's looking quite embarrassed now.
This isn't the blanket blank on South Blank?
No. If you had cooperated with me, ma'am, to give me the information I needed, I could have told you long ago you were at the wrong hotel, and we could have avoided all of this. She apologizes profusely. I go down the elevator with her and her nice little dog, where she was so sorry that she was being so mean and rude to me. I let her know I was not singling her out, that I am just doing my job because if she were in the hotel sleeping, I am sure she would appreciate the employees not letting random people in that could be dangerous. She understood and was very apologetic. She said she needed to use the restroom, and said she already peed herself a little bit. I allowed her to use our lobby bathroom and offered to let her stay in the lobby while she waited for an Uber, which she didn't need because she drove herself. Come to find out, she was in such a hurry to get into the hotel because she left her purse and her luggage at the entryway of our hotel, and to be honest, I'm shocked no one came up and stole her stuff, which would have been karma at its finest, but I'm glad it was resolved. Still, I think she is a see you next Tuesday and probably is gonna get her ass beat someday for speaking to people the way she does. 3. This happened a couple of weeks ago. A woman comes in, literally named Karen, and asks to make a reservation for the night. She says, "I stay here, usually every month for a couple of days, but due to health issues, I haven't been able to come recently." Something about that rang familiar. But before I could put much thought into it, she also said, "And I got a $90 rate." And that reminded me of how, over 6 months earlier, she had come in and said the exact same thing to me. At the time, I wasn't sure if she was indeed a regular, or someone who had something negotiated with the other managers, since I was still fairly new to the property. And when I looked for and found her previous stay, it was indeed at a $90 rate, and we had plenty of rooms, and standard rate was only $120 that night. So at the time, I gave it to her, but made a mental note to check with the others and see if there was a reason. I then followed up with the 2 other managers and sales director, and lo and behold, none of them knew who she was or could find any reason why she would have such a deal. So I made a mental note that the next time I saw her, she would not get such a good deal. So cut back to present day, and it's a whole different situation. Not only are we nearly full, unlike last time, but our rate is at $178, so I tell her, "Okay, ma'am, I do have rooms available tonight, and our standard rate is $178. "I get a $90 rate. I only ever get a $90 rate. And I paid that every time I stay here." So I very politely tell her, I understand that. However, just because something has been in the past doesn't mean it will always be that way. Our occupancy is high tonight and our rates are up, and I can't give you a room for $90. That would be almost half our standard rate. "Well, that's not my problem. I'm only paying the $90. "Well then, I'm afraid I can't give you a room tonight."
This is outrageous. I want to speak to a manager.
You in fact are speaking to a manager. You a deadpan stare for a solid 4 seconds.
"Well, this is ridiculous. I won't be coming back here ever again."
"Okay, have a wonderful night, ma'am." Followed by me ignoring her and going back to my typing on the computer, while she harumphed and stormed off. The real kicker, I went back and searched her in our system, and as far back as we've been open, 15 years, she's only stayed 8 total times. Only 4 since COVID, and only those 4 were at the $90 rate, and one of them was the previous stay I had given her because I was unsure. Suffice to say, 8 stays over 15 years and half of those at $90. I think I may have just barely avoided financially ruining the property. But it felt so good to just tell her no and watch her implode. 4. So I'm the AGM at a small off-the-highway hotel. Today I had just started my shift, and I was logging into the computer when a Karen comes up to the front desk, already giving me attitude about how her card on her rewards number isn't valid, and she can't check in online. Okay, it's not like I can do anything about it. So I go through my "can I see your ID and card that you want to use to pay for the room" speech, and she completely loses her mind. She starts screaming at me that she stayed here 1,000 times, and have never had to show ID, while at the same time dumping all the contents of her 5 purses out, trying to find the thing. There was a singular shoe in one of them, so that's the type of lady I was dealing with. She goes on and on about how I'm not doing my job, and I just tell her that it's hotel policy, and I need to see an ID at check-in, and she will not be able to get into her room until I verify identity. She then proceeds to demand to talk to the manager, in which I'm like, well, I am the manager, and she gets even more aggravated. She states that she's driven 5 hours, and I need to bend the rules for her. Funny thing is, she's from my hometown, and I know the drive quite well. It's nowhere close to 5 hours. I go into the back and grab my GM, just because I'm simply getting nowhere with her. This Karen proceeds to yell at my GM about the same thing, and the two of us are not budging. No ID, no room, plain and simple. I don't know any hotel that doesn't check an ID at check-in, so this woman was off her rocker. She's stating that she left her ID back at her hometown, and she will call her husband in the room to bring it up to her. No. Again, no ID, no check-in. The lady proceeds to tell both of us that our customer service is awful, and she will never stay with us again, after presenting her work ID 45 minutes later. She then takes my name and tells me I have no business managing a hotel with an attitude like mine. Then yells at me that I'm charging her more. As I explain the incidental fee, she tells me that it's never been a thing and I'm just taking her money. I don't know what kind of water she drank or what planet she came from, but the incidental fee and the presentation of an ID is standard across all hotels. When you're being a Karen to me, I am not willing to bend the rules for you to get what you want. She's in her room now, and proceeded to yell at the housekeepers for some reason or another. I'm guessing a new name on the DNR is in our future after her checkout tomorrow. 5. This happened years ago when I was working at a Schmilton in South Dakota. I was working first shift at the front desk when a salty Karen comes up to the desk and starts to unload her frustrations regarding the key not working. "This is the 100th time I've had to get this key reprogrammed. Why can't you people get this right?" "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Let me make you a new key." Sometimes if it gets close to your cell phone or anything magnetic, it demagnetizes and stops working. "I'm not an idiot. I know not to keep it with my cell phone." "I do apologize. Not my problem." She swipes the key off my hand and left. About half an hour later, she's back carrying some Starbucks coffee in a drink carrier in one hand, and some Starbucks pastries in another hand. She stares at me as she passes my desk and proceeds to the elevator. A couple of minutes later, she's back done yelling at me, calling me stupid because her key once again has stopped working. I tried to apologize again, and she kept cutting me off saying, "Not my problem," over and over. I made her a brand new key, kept the old key that didn't work, and gave her the new key. I decided to go with her with the master key in case the new one doesn't work, along with the old key she flung at me. I figured I could help her open her door because she has her hands full. The elevator ride was so awkward. I tried to make conversation while apologizing about the keys, and again got shut down by her saying, "Not my problem." Once we got to her door, I tried her new key first, and it worked. New key seems to work. Let me try the old key. I try the old key, and guess what? The bloody door opened. I look at Karen. As she was about to take a step to enter the door, I closed it, put the keys on top of the drinks she's carrying, and told her to have a good day.
Can you open the door so I can get in?
Not my problem. I did not see her the rest of her stay, and from what I heard, she hasn't bothered the other FDAs either. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw, episode 131. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Before you go, please do hit the like button, it does help. Alrighty, oh yes, if you'd like to get the videos a little bit early, then you can support me on my Patreon, which is linked in the description. You'll also find a link there to the Hellfreezer merchandise store, where you can buy yourself some mugs and hoodies and t-shirts and the like. If you'd also like to support the channel on a more one-time basis, because I understand supporting monthly isn't for everyone, then you can hit that little heart with the $sign in the middle just below the video. You can do that during streams and videos like this one. Well, you don't have to do this, and please don't think you're ever obligated to do this. I do greatly appreciate it, and it's helping a lot. Thank you kindly. Alrighty, I don't think there's any other business today, so let's move right along to Hellfreezer's question of the day. And today's question is, what's your favorite kind of hot chocolate? I have two. I like ones that are kind of minty, and my current favorite is it's Belgian salted caramel. I won't say the brand because I'm not promoting them. We're not sponsored here. But it is very, very yummy, and I believe one of my local stores has it on sale right now, so I should go buy a fresh jar. Just as the weather gets colder, my mind always turns toward hot drinks, especially hot chocolate. It's a nice little treat out of a cold evening. Anyway, why don't you let me know what you think? Or if you don't like hot chocolate, what's your favorite hot drink for the cold weather to perk you up? I look forward to reading your answers in a comment below. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.